started yet though, but it's dry.
People are posting like spreadsheets, like colored spreadsheets on the discussion board.
I actually have a spreadsheet.
Awesome.
So I did, when I did this, because I didn't want to calculate my score. I'm lazy. I say I'm lazy, but it takes more time to create the spreadsheet. But just to make sure I had it right, I went and created a spreadsheet. So I'll just need to input your information.
Okay.
Okay, so let's get started. Let me go back to the case study. So basically, what's going on is we're going on a trip with 5 friends to Upper Minnesota, and we're on a lake, but we decided instead of getting out of the canoes to walk the land, we went through a rapid. So now we've had a crash. We totally, I think we destroyed at least one canoe, and I think another canoe is probably repairable. But we're all soaking wet. One of us broke her leg. So I don't know, maybe that's you, Matt, or someone. I don't want it to be me. So we have a broken leg. And I think what we have to focus on in this situation, since we're all wet, it's starting to drizzle, is probably getting out of these elements. So getting to a place where we can dry off, and trying to see what we could do to continue our journey. So I'm going to go last, and I'll let each of you, I'm just going to go through the wilderness, like our items that we have left between the 6 of us. And you guys tell me what you think should be ranked number 1 and why, and then we'll go from there. So we have a fanny pack of food, a plastic cover map of the region, 6 personal flotation devices, 2 fishing poles, a set of clothes for 3 people, but they're wet, 1 yellow Frisbee, water purification tablets, duct tape, whiskey, insect repellent, matches, a parachute cord, a compass, and 6 sleeping bags. So we'll start off, and I think, do we put this? Okay, and C. Okay. So we'll start off by, what do you think should go as number 1?
Water tablets.
Same here.
Okay. Water tablets, water. Okay. Does someone have something different?
I have matches.
Matches. Anything else?
I had matches as well.
So 2 matches, 2 water tablets.
I figure matches because then you can boil water and you wouldn't need the purification tablets necessarily. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Okay, why? That's. I think that's a great idea. My only concern with that is that it's drizzling. But I think that's a great idea. We'll see what everyone else thinks. What was the other one? We had water tablets, and I'm sure I know why. But why do you guys? What's your argument?
Well, you can only survive so long without water, and so if you're not, so water tablets honestly is the best way of purification. Because even though like you can boil water, actually I don't know how accurate this is, but I have heard that like boiling water only gets rid of like a small amount of bacteria in the water, and so it's actually not that helpful to boil water in the first place. You actually have to anyway, but yeah, you can only survive a certain amount of time without water.
Okay, so I have something totally different from you guys. I chose duct tape as my number 1, and the reason why is because what you're saying, water is all true, but going through some survival type courses, your body can survive without water for 3 days at least. And in this, it tells us that they're going to send someone to a rescue team, about 5 days. So not only that, but it's drizzling. So rainwater it's actually, you can collect and drink rainwater. It's not sitting water. So I chose duct tape because a couple of things. To me, if you're wet and it says something about here that the nighttime temperatures can be in the 20s, if you're already wet and it's drizzling and the temperatures go down to 20s, you can get hypothermia and other things. You can get sick and die quicker than, not having water if you catch something like that. So I think you need duct tape to get out of the elements. What I think is that you would build a fort using the duct tape and collected branches or sticks that you can find. You could take a sleeping bag and use duct tape to build a fort so that you get out of elements. Not only that, but with duct tape, you can also get a stick to use for the broken leg. You can put cloth around it and wrap the duct tape so that you can stabilize it to help that person. And then you can also work on fixing one of the canoes, not the one that's broken in half, but the other canoe, so that you can get out once it stops raining, because it says like every other day, it stops raining or whatever, but you can get out of the elements and try to make it back to your campground.
Mm-hmm. So I actually listed duct tape as number 3 for similar reasons. So I definitely see your point.
Yeah, I listed duct tape as number 2. Personally, I didn't list the water purification tablets too high up because I went on like a 3-week long kayaking trip once where we had to use the water purification tablets, and I'm not a believer in them because I got sick because of them. So
it's funny that you said that. My husband went on SEER, survival whatever camp for the military, and he said the same thing. They put them out in the wilderness with pretty much nothing, not even food. They have to like kill rabbits and stuff. And he said that he used the tablets and he still called, I forget what it's called.
Giardia.
Yeah, that's what it is. He was like, he was so sick.
Yeah, that's what I got too. And they really don't work. I don't know why people think they do. Well, they didn't for me at least.
You got to get the life straws. Those are the best.
Yeah.
Yeah. We do have one of those now with our what is it, the 24-hour kid, whatever it's called.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we have the pump. You can just throw it in the water and you can pump it.
So Crystal brought up a good point with the matches. Matches on mine are number 2. I did a survival course where we it was basically like your ship sinks and we swam a mile in the ocean to shore in survival suits and then stayed the night, and the only things we could bring to stay the night were we could fit in a coffee can.
Mm-hmm.
And fire, like if everyone's soaking wet, you're either gonna have to jump into those sleeping bags, all of you together naked, or start a fire, or you're gonna die.
Yeah, I think that would be the case, but it's drizzling outside.
Yeah, I think you can still, though, in like the cover of the trees and stuff, I'm sure you can find something that's dry.
Right, you can dry out, but again, if it's cold and you're already wet and it's if it's drizzling, even if you take your clothes off in a dry area, it's still humid, and you're gonna not dry out very fast. And so that was just my thought is that's probably your biggest, like your first killer is hypothermia. I said water tablets first, but matches should. That was what I thought, but
yeah, no, I definitely agree on that point.
I I mean, I get what you're saying, but I don't think matches should be number one. I don't think that matches is the top. I don't think that they're the top priority.
No, I had them at number 2. I didn't. Yeah. But then I thought too,
Like,
like
maybe they're
duct
at the
tape for
top.
me. Duct tape for me is like number 8 because I feel like parachute cord, you can cut it, and it works a lot better to build like a fort.
Yeah, but you have to look at it that you can use duct tape for multiple purposes in this situation.
But the problem with the only problem with duct tape though, as opposed to like the parachute cord that you mentioned, is that you only have so much duct tape that you can use. And you can only use it once. Whereas like parachute cord, you can use that over and over again on different things. So
Right, but you
have to be very careful and conscious of what you would use your duct tape with.
You do, but you have a roll of duct tape, and if we've all seen a roll of duct tape, that is a pretty fat roll that goes a long way. And again, you can help build a fort with duct tape. You can fix, or not fix, but stabilize the broken leg with duct tape. And you can fix the canoe because it says that one has just a tear in it. And so your main thing is to get out of the elements, but not also to get out of the elements, but to see what you could do to go and either get help or finish your journey with that. The one with the broken leg, he's not going to necessarily be able to walk. So I think fixing the canoe and getting out of the elements of the rain should be the top priority.
Yeah.
So I would still say duct tape it goes with all 3. You can use it for multiple purposes.
Yeah, I do agree though, Sean. It will go really fast. Like it's only a 30-foot roll, so it's not like the huge ones. So I don't know. I feel like it would go pretty quick.
Yeah, I think they're all good choices, and I think we all stated really good reasons. I think it just boils down to a personal opinion.
Where did you guys rank the yellow frisbee?
14.
Last. Yeah,
So let's rank these. So what do we have?
I would have grabbed that frisbee when we found out that was what we had, part of what we had. I would have just take that and thrown it out into the creek and been like, "Well, we don't need this."
Right. I mean, maybe you can use it as, I don't know, a plate, drinking water. I don't know.
Collect rainwater and stuff. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, but
Yeah.
no more uses other than that.
I put the fishing poles as number 13. I'm like,
Okay, so what do we want to rank as number 1?
let's do the duct tape.
Yeah.
Okay.
water purification tablets.
I didn't even hear that.
I've had
just to
great
drink the water.
success. Somebody said that they don't really work, but they work. At least from
They
what
didn't work for me.
I've drank beaver water, that Giardia stuff. They call it beaver fever in Alaska, and I've used it off of a beaver pond. Like there's probably beaver poop in the water, and I didn't get sick. So
Honestly, I would do water purification tablets, but the fact is, if they told me like, hey, you're in a dry area and like it's not raining, I would definitely go with water purification tablets because then you would need water. But the fact that you can survive 3 days without water and that it's raining outside, you can collect rainwater and drink it without purification tablets.
Mm-hmm.
Without getting sick.
I understand your argument with going 3 days without water, but if you've ever seen somebody that hasn't gone 2 days with water, like
I have actually, yeah.
what is it? How do they act?
Well, I mean, obviously it's going to impact people, but you can still survive. You can still move around and live.
10-4.
But
Yeah,
I don't want to spend because we have a lot of others to go through. So again, what do we want to rank as number 1?
think duct tape's good.
Yeah, let's do duct tape. That's
Yeah,
fine.
that's fine.
Okay. Number 2. What are you guys thinking?
So I originally had food, but like the fanny pack of food because you can only go so far without food. But through our discussion, I think probably something else would be better. Like
Mhm.
I don't know.
I was thinking matches.
So what do you have, Sean?
Matches.
I have the fanny pack of food. That's what I originally had.
And then we have matches. Does someone else have something different from fanny pack or matches?
Whiskey. Just kidding.
I thought whiskey really high up there because they said that a lot of people had cuts and bruises, and that will disinfect them.
Yeah.
That was my thought too. I don't have it that high, but I still have it pretty. I still have it. Not low.
I think that's funny. I hear that it also keeps you warm. When
Yeah.
you start drinking it. It's honestly ranked as my lower. It's number 13 on my list.
Yeah, mine's
but
10.
yeah, because I think it's true. You need it to disinfect cuts and bruises, but I think you have a lot more to worry about versus cuts and bruises at this point.
Yeah. So I definitely think for our number 2, it's probably going to be something along the lines of matches or sleeping bags or a new set of clothes.
Okay, I will tell you that I have sleeping bags for a couple of reasons. One, you could build a fort. We could take one of those sleeping bags and build a fort with the duct tape and sticks. And again, that gets us out of the element of the rain. So my main thing is if it's raining outside, you need to get out of the rain somehow. And
So-
yes, go ahead.
So my only thought, this is more of like on your application of that, is that with synthetic sleeping bags, is that when synthetics get wet, you don't lose heat, and so it'd actually be a better use for those sleeping to actually like get in, because there's 6 of them, right? Yeah, 6 sleeping bags.
Right.
It's better for everyone to get in them rather than using them as a fort. My thought is with that, because you can, at least on that note. So I don't necessarily know if like you'd want to like make a fort out of them, but I definitely think like they'd definitely be useful in that way.
No, I think you're absolutely right. So what I was thinking is once we build a fort using one, then everyone else, we would get in the sleeping bags. And my thought process is hopefully we're on this trip either with husbands and wives or girlfriends and boyfriends or friends who wouldn't mind to get together. Because I know body heat, if you get in a sleeping bag with someone else, if you're small enough, obviously. But yeah, you definitely, then you could build a fort and everyone can still get in a sleeping bag. But I do think sleeping bags, I put sleeping bags as number 2 on my
With
list.
my wife. Well,
Do
I'm
I?
planning on this being one of the people being my wife. So, because all the things I've learned is, like for somebody, if somebody gets wet and everyone else is dry, you want somebody to get in there with the wet person.
Right.
And they say to do it buck naked.
Yeah. And that's what I would do. I would build a fort and then get in sleeping bags with someone. We would all team up somehow and butt naked in there in the sleeping bag. I'm sorry, guys. That's exactly what would happen. Unless we couldn't fit.
You gotta stay warm
Yeah.
somehow.
Right? It's like, hey, this is survival.
All right, everybody draw straws on which size spoon you are. Are you the big spoon and small spoon?
Well, and it was funny listening to my husband. Some of the things that they did, because it did rain on them, and some of the things that they did
Oh yeah.
to survive, I was like, oh, and they were all guys. Like, I'm like, I don't know. Okay, so anyway, number 2, what do you guys have?
I think matches.
Okay, matches.
Yeah, I definitely say
Yeah.
Matches.
I also, this is another thought I had to. So, it's in with Minnesota, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Upper Minnesota.
Doesn't Minnesota have spruce like evergreens? There's evergreens up there, right?
I think so.
So like
I'm not sure. I've never
on
been.
my survival thing, we found a big spruce tree, and I mean the base of them, you got like this like probably 8-foot diameter circle that the branches go out to, and every experience and everything I've ever seen and every spruce tree I've ever seen out in the rain, it's like bone dry underneath it. So like, that's something I had thought too, as far as a shelter is you may already have kind of a shelter going for you if you can find a spruce tree, and there's probably one nearby if it's in Minnesota because it's northern areas. So just a thought too.
Yeah, I think the object of this activity though is to try to just use what we have, or not just use what we have, but to consider. But no, that's a good point. I think that's right. I would look around and see what we could use. I mean, even if there was like a cave or something, that would probably be what I would do. But okay, so I think sleeping bag should be number 2, but you guys are wanting matches, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. What do we have for number 3?
Probably then sleeping bags or new set of clothes, or the set of clothes.
Yeah, I say sleeping bags or food just to give you energy.
Well, hopefully it's the day of. So hopefully, and that's another thing we have to take into consideration. Hopefully, since this just all happened, they've eaten at least lunch or breakfast or something. I think sleeping bags. Again, I rank sleeping bags as number 2. So obviously, if you guys want matches for number 2, I would put sleeping bags for number 3.
Yeah, I think that sounds good.
Boy,
Yep.
Minnesota's pretty.
Is it? Are you looking at pictures right now?
The forest, yeah. And oh my gosh, we should all go there and get like stranded. We could totally we could eke out a 2-week living with nothing, man. There's so much stuff that's edible.
Okay, so we have sleeping bags as number 3. My number 3 was flotation devices. But we could do sleeping bags. That was my number 2. I just thought of flotation devices for a couple of different reasons. One, again, you can collect water with it to drink. And then another thing is, or I guess the main thing, other than fixing the canoe, once it stops raining, you can get in those, or what I would do is put 4 people in the flotation devices. And then the one with the broken leg in the canoe with someone else in the canoe with him. And so that's why I think flotation devices would be very important. That's their way to get out of this situation.
You think
Man, you put
they could just swim down the
this
river?
than I did.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Just put the guy in the broken leg in the canoe, but everyone else just use the flotation devices down the river?
Yeah. Well, in the canoe, I would put the guy with the broken leg and then another person. So 2 people in that canoe, because he'll need to stretch out his leg. The other person is in the canoe because that guy with the broken leg is probably in a lot of pain. So they could get through, or whatever, or however many people could fit in the canoe, still making the guy with the broken leg somewhat comfortable to the point where he could stretch out his leg. Or not stretch it out, but prop it up with duct tape, cloth, and a stick. Now, the flotation devices, I'm assuming it's like a little boat thing, kind of like a normal survival flotation device.
I think it's like a life jacket. That's what I'm thinking.
That's what my thought was too.
Okay.
So I think it's a life jacket, which is why I put it like number 12.
I would not put a flotation device when you're out on the river. Number 12.
Well, you're not on the river though at this point, so we don't have anything to take us anywhere, so that's why I put it lower.
I did too.
Other things.
Yeah, because I was like, well, if you have one canoe, I mean, you probably could fit a couple, like 6 people, and there's 6 of. Is that all of us, or how many is like supposed to be on this trip?
6. It's you and 5 others.
Okay, so 6 people. So you could probably fit 6 people in a canoe, but
No.
definitely wouldn't be safe that way. But my thought was that you wouldn't be getting back in the boat, and so.
I mean, if you're gonna leave too, you just like follow the river and walk. Maybe put the guy in the canoe with his broken leg and just put strings and just have him walk down the side of the river.
That's actually not a bad idea.
And also send a couple people to go get help while the guy with the broken leg and the other ones are staying docked, you know? So
That is true. You could do
that's what I'm thinking, is that you don't necessarily need those.
Yeah.
As high there.
We're gonna make a movie about this.
Okay. And I still think that I still would put them up because you can use flotation devices for other things, heat, other things like that. But if you guys want to rank, what do you want to rank number 4 then? Because I would put flotation devices as number 4. But what do you guys want?
Parachute cord.
Okay. Who else? What else do you guys have as number 4?
I had sleep bags because I had food as number 3, but parachute cord is number 5. So 4, I think, is parachute cord. That's good.
Yeah, I think that's a good choice.
I honestly think a plastic cover map of the region would do more good than a parachute cord at this point.
Well, because the parachute cord you can actually use to with the fishing poles, you can actually use those to bind up the guy's broken leg.
Yeah. Right. So with a plastic cover map first of all, you're not getting anywhere if you don't know where you're going. So a plastic cover map of the region after you fix the canoe will help you. I mean, even when you go to amusement parks, they give you maps of the park because you can get lost and spend days just trying to get back on track. So to me, that would be very important. You need to know where you're going, probably where you're at. You can collect rainwater with it. Again, that's another thing that you could do. But I think that makes more sense than a parachute cord.
If you rank a plastic map at whatever, a compass has to be the next one after that.
That's true.
I put compass before plastic map.
Yeah, I did too.
So the thing is, someone made this point though, is that like your plan was to go down the river, right? So like if you fall,
30% of it is river and 70% of it is land. So eventually you do have to travel on land.
Oh yes, that's correct. But yeah. So okay, never mind.
Yeah, personally, I'd like to have a compass over a map.
I think a compass.
But only if you know where because you have to know relatively where you're going though, because if you're.
Well, you have to know where you've been before you know where you're going.
Yeah.
So if you've been paying attention this whole time with your compass, then you should know the direction that you came from.
Yeah, but if you have a plastic cover map of the region, what am I saying? So if you have a plastic cover map on the region, usually, I mean, it maps out everything that's on there. So you know exactly what's around you, where you're going, where you've been. All of that should be drawn out on the map. And
yeah, but what's the indicator on a map that helps you know what direction you're at?
I will say this though, there are other ways of knowing the directions other than using a compass.
Yeah.
So I mean, not to say like, because I honestly like have them basically like I have like 7 and 8 as the map and the compass. So it's like, to me, it's like it's practically the same thing to me.
There you go.
But that's how I see it.
I think they're both useless without the other.
Yeah,
well, you can't give them the same number, so.
Yeah,
well, obviously, but I think we need to have them back to back.
Yeah, I don't think that they're useless without I don't think that that's true. I think with a map, I mean, because I've done this before. And when I have done this, like you can take a map and know exactly where you're going. They don't give you a compass when you're at an amusement park. When we went to Grand Canyon, they didn't give us a compass to know where we were going. They give you a map. and you get along just fine. So I don't necessarily think that you need both.
Well, yeah, but this is out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
It's still a park. It's a national park that they still have mapped out.
I don't know. I go with the parachute cord because the guy's hurt. Like someone said, you can wrap his leg. You can get shelter because you're not going to be walking if it's 70% land. If this guy has a broken leg, he's not going to be walking. So we need to build a shelter so that we're okay while a couple other people go down the river and go get help.
I don't think that that's wise. I wouldn't put a parachute cord because, again, with a broken leg, you can get a stick and you can get cloth and stuff like that. You can get duct tape. You can wrap it around the cloth to sustain or stabilize that leg. I definitely would not choose a parachute cord over knowing where I'm going or knowing what I'm dealing with. My main thing would be to get out of this situation.
But they said it's raining. It's starting to drizzle, and that usually happens for the whole next day. And you can't go on the river or the lake to get.
Well, actually, it says sometimes that happens, but then it says the weather can change several times within one day. So it could be rainy one moment, sunny the next moment. So that's what it actually says in here.
I think it really depends on what your plan is, because I kind of partially saw it as my goal is to just survive until someone can find me. Like, which which has its drawbacks as well. I mean, considering, but it also, like, if you stay in the same place along the river, if you can survive long enough, someone is bound to find you if you're on the path that you were planning on going.
So I have a question. You have 6 people, 1 is hurt, and 5 others, and you would just sit around until someone comes to find you?
No, I didn't say that. I'm saying that's just depending on, because to me, that's how I see it. It's like, if we can survive that, at least that's like the number one goal. Like, you have to survive, otherwise you're not getting anywhere. You can't move. You can't get out of the place if you're not surviving. And so, in the first place. So if your goal is to, first of all, to survive, then, it kind of depends there. If your goal is to just, get someone out, then, I mean, you're going to kind of maybe see it a little bit differently in that way.
Yeah, so my goal would be to get out of the rain, but to fix the canoe and go get help or get out, send some people. Well, like Chrissy said earlier, I would send some people back on the river and try to go get people, because it says on here that they will not send a rescue team out for 5 days. So I definitely would send some of the people who are fine to go back out to finish the trip and get help.
So I think, kind of going back what Christy said, though, is like, if you're going to have someone stay behind, it's probably going to be the person with a broken leg and then another person, right? And so you're going to want to have a space for them to be taken care of and survive until someone comes back. And so you probably would want that parachute cord to be able to bind that leg.
But you don't need a parachute cord to bind a leg.
No, but you do need something for shelter. That's the only thing.
You can use
for that person.
A sleeping bag with duct tape for shelter and for a leg. That was my whole point in choosing duct tape as number 1.
You still have to build a structure, though, to support that sleeping bag. And that's best used for parachute cord, I would say.
So you guys want
going off here
as number 4? Because we need to get on. I think that that's wrong. I think parachute cord is on down the list. But we'll see.
I don't necessarily think that it's like, I definitely agree that I don't think it's necessarily number 4, but I don't think it's necessarily as unimportant.
Yeah, but it's definitely not number 4 on the list out of all this stuff.
We'll throw in the river like the Frisbee.
But are you guys because I mean, we'll see what's what here in a moment when we get the expert ranking. But
you already know what it is?
I'm sorry?
You already know what it is?
No, I do not know what it is. But I have taken the 3 of these activities before.
And 4.
Not the same
So
activity,
I have to
but
say, the thing that I
somewhat.
find the most ridiculous about this activity, it's like, why am I like? I get why we're ranking these things because at the same time it's like I have all of them. Why does it freaking matter if what's more important if I have all of these things?
That and I think you should focus. We should be focusing on more on how to make a plan.
Yeah. Well, I say we just kind of move on. Let's
Yeah,
just
so
choose
are we
something.
doing parachute cord as number 4?
Sure.
What's number
Let's
5?
just-
I'm just gonna let you guys tell me what you think, and then we'll go on to the expert thinking.
Okay. 'Cause we're almost at an hour.
Yeah, because I have totally different answers from you guys. So what's number 5, guys?
Should we do compass and then or map and then compass?
Okay, so we'll do
5
map.
and 6.
Yeah, we're kind of running out of time too. So
Yeah, that's why I'm saying let's just go.
Okay, what's number 7?
I would say probably at this point we probably would want the water tablets.
Okay.
I'm just saying that because probably at the point where we've used all these things, it's probably a few days, like a day later or whatever. Someone's going out, something's happening, and at this point we're probably going to need it.
I think food should be 8.
Food is 8. What's number 9?
Set of clothes.
Clothes, number 9. What's number 10?
Wait, no one else is giving the feedback. I'm not the only one doing this. 10 is whiskey.
What do you guys think number 10?
I agree with that.
I can repent later. I can repent later.
Actually, I would say number 10 is probably the fishing poles, kind of the same thing.
You can fix them. You could fish.
Well,
Okay.
that too, and also to bind up the guy's leg. Probably should have done that earlier, but
Okay. What's number 11?
The whiskey.
the whiskey.
Do you guys really think whiskey is more important than flotation devices?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't think that's true, but what's number 12?
I think at that point it would be the flotation devices.
Okay. 13? We have
Insect repellent.
insect repellent or yellow frisbee.
Insect repellent.
Repellent.
The frisbee we could use to pick up satellite radio.
All
Or we
right.
can just play
Now
frisbee.
let's go on to I'm going to tell you guys the rankings. Let me find that. Give me a moment.
Yay. Wow, that
I
was
know
good.
it's-
Good job, guys.
I know it was somewhere on here. Let me see. Okay, so I think it's under group leader
Ooh.
or whatever it's titled. Okay, yeah, here it is. Begin with recording, invite prayer, begin with quick synopsis of scenarios. What are the most significant issues facing the group? What are the first actions? Oh, okay, because maybe we didn't go through this. So what are the most significant issues facing the group?
Broken leg.
Okay.
I think we kind of mentioned this at the beginning, possibility of hypothermia, getting too wet, being wet and cold.
Okay. What are the first actions that must be taken?
Get dry.
Okay. And what are the key items needed? I think it should be this list, I would assume.
Parachute cord, right?
Right. Which I think is definitely not at the top of the list, but
I'm
we'll
giving you a hard time.
background for expert rankings. The correct answers are based on the opinions of 2 experts, Jeff Stimmerman and Ken Gisk, I don't know, of REI Outfitters, both of whom act as guides for canoe trips to the Boundary Waters region. The experts agreed that the best course of action for the group was to repair one of the canoes and send 2 of the most experienced and least injured people to paddle to a road and got to Grand Marais, I'm probably butchering this name, for help because as search party would not even leave for at least 5 days and might not find the group for a couple days more. This would cause severe hardship on the group, particularly the one with a broken leg. Food is a way down and there is minimal protection from rain and cold. Since the tent and tarps were lost, cold and rainy weather at this time of the year is life-threatening, so the group must get help as soon as possible. It is estimated the group of 2 would move faster than if anyone went along, and they could get to help within 1 day. Then a helicopter could be sent to the campsite. Huh, I didn't know that. A helicopter. I guess I didn't know every campsite had a helicopter, but okay. First priority of the group then is to go for help. However, in order to do this and survive, it is important to get warm and to try to dry out wet clothing and sleeping bags. Oh, I didn't realize the sleeping bags are wet. Anyway, however, since it has started to drizzle and may rain, there is no assurance things will get dry soon. In that case, the party of 2 needs to leave quickly in wet clothes and take their wet sleeping bags with them. Interesting. There is almost no food left. Most of it having been lost in the rapids. About half should go to the 2 paddlers who will have less time to gather food, but who will presumably get to a food source sooner. The expert said as long as they have water, they could go for 3 days without food and still function adequately. On the 3rd day, they would get shaky. Those left behind can try to catch some fish to eat. I didn't think of that either. Based on the opinions, the experts' rankings are, number 1, duct tape. This is the most essential thing because it is the only way to repair the canoe. It can be used to patch up the tin teach and to fix the broken gun walls. I'm not sure what those are, but I'm sure I guess they're on the canoe. Other uses for duct tape, which the expert says is essential on any such trip, is to repair the fishing poles. I didn't think about that either. And to use the large sticks to set a temporary slit for the broken bone. I did think about that. Lastly, it can be used to fashion a makeshift pan to boil water. I'm not even sure how you do that. However, caution must be used to keep the tape far enough away from the flame and to not allow the water to get so hot that the adhesive will melt. So number 1 is duct tape. I kind of want to know how you make a pan out of duct tape, or a makeshift, I guess. Is that like a place where you make like a burner? Is that what a makeshift pan is?
No, you're just building a fire and you're heating up the water in the duct tape. You can boil water in a paper cup. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Okay. So number 1 is duct tape. Number 2, personal flotation devices. These are useful mostly because they will help keep the body warm. I didn't know that. They can be worn as best to keep I think it means vest. It says best, but it can be worn as vest to keep the torso warm or used as sit pages or pillows on wet or clawed ground. Okay, so I guess you could wear them to sit. You could use them to sit on or as pillows. And then you can wear them to keep warm. Right now, the clothes are wet. Even when PFDs are wet, they will still provide warmth. Oh, I guess I should be filling in the experts' rankings. I haven't done that. Are you guys filling those in? I think we're all supposed to fill them in according to this. I'll go back anyway. If you haven't, number 1 is duct tape. Number 2 is personal flotation devices. I'm just going to put that really quick. Where are personal flotation? Okay, 2. And then number 3, okay. Number 3, map of the area. It's essential for 2 people striking out to get help. It would be almost impossible to navigate out of lakes and to a road without a map. The plastic coaching also makes the map useful as a makeshift umbrella. I didn't think of that, but you can use it as an umbrella. So plastic map of the region is number 3. Number 4, sleeping bags. The reason why is important to keep warm, both for paddlers and as well as those staying behind. Even though even though the bags are wet, they still provide some warmth. Since they are synthetic, it is important to dry them out as soon as possible, though. The bags can be used day or night for warmth. Number 5 is matches. Matches to start a fire as soon as the drizzle or rain stops and begins drying out the clothes. The extra set can be dried out and put on at the same time that some people strip down and get into the sleeping bags or their clothes dry. Fires can be started from the plentiful wood pieces in the area. Birch bark is used as fire starters. The first is important for cooking purposes, also as well as providing warmth for the group. If the weather had not started to drizzle and looked like it was going to rain soon, the matches would have been number 3 in order to get clothes and sleeping bags dry, especially for those leaving. So matches is number 5. Number 6 is food. Though there isn't much, it still will be very helpful. It must be divided and rationed, so it doesn't run out quickly. For those staying behind, it is hoped that within a day, fish can be caught. However, in the meantime, the food that remains should somehow be protected from bears.
So what's number 6?
It's number 6.
What is?
Food is number 6.
Food, yeah.
Clothes is number 7. So the wet clothes. When it stops raining, the extra clothes need to be dried out, and three of the remaining people can wear them. This greatly helps chances of survival for keeping dry, increases warmth. Dry clothes are even more important than securing additional food to eat. That makes sense. Number 8 are the fishing poles. Once the duct tape is used, the poles should be fit for fishing in the lake where northern walleye or lake trout fish can be caught and cooked over the fire. A stick may be used as a split to roast the fish, or the makeshift pan for the duct tape can boil the fish. So number 8 are the fishing poles. Number 9 is a parachute cord. This has many uses as a line to dry clothes, though bushes can be used too, to secure the food in a tree from bears. And if the duct tape runs out, the cord can be used for splinting the leg and repairing the gun walls on the canoe. In order to do this, poke the holes near either side of the top using a jackknife. Well, what if you don't have a jackknife? Pulling the cord through the holes and tie it securely. Okay, so number 9 is the parachute cord. Number 10 is the insect repellent. Insect repellent for protection from mosquitoes and black flies, which are both persistent and thick, as well as wood ticks and deer ticks, which often spread Lyme disease. This is interesting. Number 11 is the water purification tablets. Mildly important because the water in those areas is often not pursued. However, the disease to worry about, oh, there it is. The disease to worry about most is Giardia, a protozoa in the water. It takes 2 weeks to take effect in the body. By that time, everyone should be home. Water can also be boiled. This is okay. So the frisbee is number 12. Though it was brought for reflection, it actually has some, or it should be so. Though it was brought for recreation, it actually has some survival value. One use is to heat water in it, being careful that the heat does not melt the plastic. I didn't even think of that. Fish can be boiled in it as well as can hard candies in water to provide a warm liquid for the group. The frisbee can be used to fan the fire, and it can be used for recreation to ease tension. Okay. Number 13 is the compass. Magnetic compass. This is not as important as the other items because the paddlers are well equipped to navigate the lakes with the map. That's what I was saying earlier. And then whiskey is number 14. Some may think this is useful for energy or to keep warm. That's what I thought. But actually it has the opposite effect. Oh, it should only be used as a last resort for pain, broken bones, because alcohol causes dehydration and hypothermia, getting colder. After drinking alcohol, the blood capillaries expand, and initially the driver feels warm. However, heat is actually being lost, and later there is a sudden feeling of being very, very cold. So that's drink glass. I did not know that you get colder when drinking whiskey. Okay. So now that we know the numbers, let me go and put these into the spreadsheet. So C is the groups 5. 12. Fishing poles, we ranked as number 10. Set of clothes for 3. 9. Yellow frisbee, we ranked as 12. Water purification tablets were those, we ranked as 11. Oh my goodness. I'm looking at the expert ranking. Okay, so hold on. Group 8, 5, 12, 10, 9, 14, 7, 1, whiskey 11, insect repellent 13, matches 2, parachute cord 4, compass 6, and sleeping bags number 3. Okay.
Any way you can go through that really quick and just save it?
Yes, I can go back through it to make sure. Or if someone else wants to go through C to make sure I have the right ones. Or it doesn't matter. I mean, I could do it. I have C for the ranking for the group. And I'm just going to go down the list. We have fanny pack as number 8. Plastic cover map as number 5. 6 flotation devices as number 12. 2 fishing poles as number 10. Set of clothes for 3 as number 9. Yellow frisbee as number 14. Water purification tablets as number 7. Duct tape as number 1. Whiskey as number 11. Insect repellent as number 13. Matches as number 2. Parachute cord as number 4. Compass as number 6. And sleeping bags is number 3. And I'll just go over the expert ranking again. I'm just going to go in order. Fanny pack for food is number 6. Plastic cover map of region is number 3. 6 personal flotation devices is number 2. 2 fishing poles is number 8. Set of wet clothes for 3 is number, for 3 is number 7. Yellow frisbee is 12. Water purification tablets 11. Duct tape is number 1. Whiskey is number 14. Insect repellent is number 10. Matches is number 5. Parachute cord is number 9. Compass is number 13. And sleeping bags is number 4. So that's what I have. For that. So it says on here, based off of, so let's see, A should be B minus D, which is your rankings.
Do we actually like get a negative number if it's negative?
That's what I did.
Okay.
I have to get going, guys. I'll
Okay. If you could just give me your individual score, Tyler. Or was that, sorry, I'm not.
You have to record everybody else's individual score.
I do. We have to do a, yes, I think. Because I have to post who had the lowest or whatever. Have you calculated it?
You want the column of individual error?
I guess so, yeah, I believe so. Yeah, because it says the total numbers in column A.
I'll just email you my sheet I'm doing. The one off the website, off the school website.
Okay, well, email us soon because I have other classes to work on.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
I can't figure out how to do the individual error. Am I supposed to just subtract?
So it looks like you subtract your ranking minus the expert's ranking. So B minus D.
Even so you give negative numbers then?
I guess so. I'm not sure. I'm trying to see right now. I guess so, though.
Oh,
Yeah, I guess you can. I don't know. I'm not sure if there's. I'm just gonna put. Has anyone looked at the other people's scores in the group? I mean, the other groups.
I can, if you want me to.
Yeah, can you look at those really quick? I'm not. It just says individual score, and then it says B minus D.
From the looks of it, let's see here. It seems like they didn't do that. They just did positive numbers.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Oh, so maybe once you go negative, I don't know. It's telling me to ask all group members to finalize their table scores, including the individual, group, and persuasion scores at the bottom of the table. All subtracted calculations results should be recorded as an absolute value, meaning, oh, here it is. All subtracted calculations results should be recorded as an absolute value, meaning no negative numbers. Record the positive results in your table.
But 0 for all the negative ones.
I guess so. I guess if you have a negative, then it's.
Oh, you do? 0?
Well, it doesn't say that, but it says absolute value, meaning no negative numbers.
Right. Only positive.
Right.
And then we just give you our final calculated score.
Right. This is weird. I don't get this.
Okay.
Oh, that's awful.
Because I'm getting 0 on mine. I mean, it's not negative, but it's at the very bottom.
So you did all positive numbers, right? So you did. right? That's because that's what that means. Is that
all
all?
the negative sheep.
So because your error, none of the numbers are supposed to be negative. They're all of the errors are supposed to be positive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I got 35 as my final score for my individual.
Can you say your name? Sorry, I'm looking at the spreadsheet.
Sorry, Tyler.
He's 35. Okay.
Yeah.
Do I have anything from Christy or Sean yet?
I have 40.
Sean, and then Christy?
For my individual one, is that what we're doing?
Yes.
Okay, hold on. I'm taking all the negatives out.
I don't know if this is right. Is this right?
What did you get?
I got 3. If I'm taking the negatives out, I got a 3. I calculated it.
I don't know if it is right because, well, maybe the lower you get, the better.
Well,
Yeah, that's the idea.
oh, okay.
The lower the better. The higher the worse.
Oh, okay. Let me finish reading this document. Maybe that I can. Let me see.
Okay, so you do. I'm looking at the other people's that posted. So they are putting a number, just not a negative number for the differences. Even though it's negative, they're just still putting a 2. If it was 8 and then the expert ranking was 6.
Why would they do that?
That doesn't make sense. I think
So they're doing that, and the only ones that are 0, which makes sense, is the ones that are exactly right.
The ones that are 0 are the ones that are exact.
That match the expert versus the person exactly. So if it was a 1 for duct tape and a 1 for the expert, then otherwise.
I don't know. I don't know. Let me Google. I feel like I know what absolute value means.
Yeah, I'm pretty confused now. What they put?
Letter number 2. It says,
Oh my goodness, I keep getting stuff. Okay, let's see. So the magnitude of a real number without regard to its sign.
Yeah, they're still putting the numbers on both groups that posted. So I think we should just do the same as them.
Okay.
So it's only a 0 if you match exactly to the expert. Otherwise, you're gonna put the number.
Oh yeah, because it says so in practice. Absolute value means to remove any negative sign in front of a number and to think of all numbers as positive or 0.
Yeah.
So then our bad score would be the exact rank that we gave it?
No, so you're going to still do column B minus D, but if it's a -3, you're just going to put it as a +3.
Yeah.
Oh,
So you just remove the negative. So you just add all of the numbers except 0 up.
okay. I get that.
So then I have 6 then.
I hope Matt can figure this out.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. I know that there's a way. Maybe if I do if. Because I have a spreadsheet, but I'm trying to see how do I just get it. I guess that doesn't matter anyway. So Tyler and Sean, do you guys need to go back and recalculate?
Oh,
Yeah, I'm doing it right
Okay. How do you do the persuasion score? Ask the group members with the best. Okay, ask the group member with the best member score for their persuasion score. This is called the members' persuasion score. Let me see.
now. Okay, I have my final score.
Is that Tyler?
Yeah.
Okay, what is it?
So, oh shoot, dang it. Just a second, I'm sorry, I screwed something up.
Persuasion score is B minus C.
It's 60.
Is 60?
Yeah, 60.
60. Okay. Thank you.
So now we need to do the group error one, right?
Well, we already. Well, yeah, I guess so. Which I did the group score and I got 0. So I don't know.
Our group score should be 46.
Yeah, I got 46 too.
Okay. Let me see. What was the group score again?
46.
Well, no, I know that, but I'm seeing what you're how to get it. Is C minus D. Okay, yeah, that's right. Okay, just waiting for Christy and Sean.
What do you need?
Yeah, what do you
Your individual score.
I already gave you my individual score.
Oh, I thought you said that you needed to
No.
calculate it again.
No.
Okay, so what is it?
44.
Okay.
Mine's 62.
All right, and then I think Matt just emailed me. Let me see what he have. I hope that he understood.
I don't think you probably knew how to do it.
Well,
that was
let me.
pretty confusing. And then we have to put the persuasion score, which is B minus C.
Yeah. So can someone help me because I have a lot to do.
I have 32 for the persuasion score.
No, I'm not asking for that because I don't need. It's the lowest person's persuasion score. What I need is Matt sent me his numbers, or I think he sent everyone his numbers, but he did not calculate anything on them. So I need his maybe did he? Maybe he did. Okay, so he got group score 46, individual score 62. So you got the same as you, Christy. You guys must have had the same answers or something. Okay, so we have that. Our average is a 46.8. Also note the best member score or lowest individual score. Ask the group member with the best score for their persuasion score. So the persuasion score is, it's B minus C.
I got 32.
36.
Yeah, I don't think we're supposed to post everyone's score for the persuasion score.
I thought you just said it was the lowest of everybody.
It says, ask the group member with the best member score for their persuasion score. This is called the member's persuasion score. So,
So don't you need to know ours then?
well, you guys already gave me your. Give me a moment. So it says also note the best member score is the lowest individual. So no, I don't need to know yours because you guys got in the 60s except for Sean. So that wouldn't be the best member score. The best member score is the lowest individual score.
So would that be you?
That's me. So I need to go and it's B minus C, which I thought I had already did all this, but okay. So it's my score minus the group score, I guess. Which is, give me a moment. Right. So then that's going to be, I don't like this absolute value thing. Because I did formulas, but now I'm having to go and remove 2 plus 1 plus 9 plus 6 plus 4 plus 2 plus 3 plus 2 plus 4 plus 8 plus 1. So 44 is the persuasion score. All right, and I think that's all. Okay. Cool. Decide if your group had a process a gain. If your group score was higher than the average member score, then you had a gain. If it was higher, you did not. Sorry, if your group score was lower than the average member score, then you had a gain. So the average member score is a 46.8, and our group score was a 46, so it was lower. So we processed the gain. All right. I think that we're done. Report your group's results, answers 8 to 11. I could do the discussion board by myself here in a second. All right, so I'm going to stop the hangout. Do any of you guys have any questions?
No.
Okay.